the real reason that I detransitioned was because I felt like the fandom was like anti-Eureka winning even.
I'm like in history, I feel like. This is like history.
Oh, it was very history.
And when the casting gets announced, are the other queens feeling a certain type of way?
The girls get bitter when they don't get something someone else gets. Not only drugs, but I've been addicted to food. I've been addicted to attention. I've been addicted to...
I saw you posted on your story, you know, that you're selling some of your items because the transition is getting so expensive. My initial thought was like, oh, I thought she'd be rich. Wait, so the pay is not that great?
No.
I would have thought it was like the best pay out of any gig you could get.
If you're not a Voss girl, you're lucky to get invited to do Drag Race Live.
Hello.
Hi.
Eureka's here, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I had the wrong address for a second. Okay. What's your name?
I'm Patreon, her sister.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well. You come in.
Thank you.
I tried to move around to get some coffee and I ran to trying to meet you back.
Oh, no worries. Oh my gosh, perfect timing.
Eureka, your company's here. She's coming.
Oh, no worries. These are all so amazing. I love these memories.
Hello, how are you? Good, how are you?
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. This is Miss Princess Pink.
Princess Pink. Hi.
She's shy.
I think this is perfect, right? It's just like cozy vibes.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm so happy to be here with you.
I'm happy that you're here.
I've had Candy and you, and you're two of my favorites, honestly. So it's been so far so great. Between you, I can't. No,
I was so mad. I went and saw Mistress in her show the other night.
love Mistress too.
Okay, I love her too, but I was given Womana, and someone walked out to me and was like, "Are you Mistress?" And I was like, "No, I'm Ginger Minge, thank you." If you're a fierce big girl, you're the same big girl, I guess.
Right.
I've literally been called Latrice before.
You're lying.
I swear, why would I lie?
Do you laugh?
I thought they were joking for sure. I was like, "Are you serious?" And they were like, "I love you, chunky and funky." I'm like, "Work."
Are your eyebrows microbladed?
No, these are they're called Eureka brows. They're like temporary tattoos. I mean, girl, you know the hustle is real. This is my pretty palace.
Oh, it's huge.
I was like, honey, I've always wanted like my dream girl room, you know?
You can put fake eyelashes on too or not?
No, God, no, not right now. I just can't handle all that makeup all the time. You know what I'm saying? I'm a trans woman. You know, I really have to do more than I would like to have to do every day to feel passable, you know, for the world and to feel comfortable with myself too. You know, I want to be beautiful and pretty, and you know, I don't want to be called sir everywhere I go.
I love Drag Race, of course, but honestly, I really resonate so much with We're Here. I just love the work that you're doing so much on that show, and it just feels so important.
Honestly, it's like my dream job. I remember even when I was competing for season 10, like hoping to be a finalist or hoping to win, you know, obviously a finalist. I remember I started doing these like spoken words. I would get calls from people and they'd be like, Eureka, drag's not so serious. It's not supposed to be that emotional. And I'm just like, well, but to me it is, you know? So I guess my way to prove those people wrong were to help create We're Here.
So there's been hundreds of drag queens on Drag Race, and you three got chosen. When a job comes up like that, and they're looking for obviously 3 drag queens from Drag Race, and is it like, are you auditioning for this?
I think I was blessed in a way, or maybe I had just presented myself in a way where it seemed like the creators knew they wanted me for sure. I think I was the first one they met with, and then me and Bob and Shangela met with them at their house one day, and they showed us the treatment. And I remember we were leaving, and Bob looks at me and he was like, because I told him, I was like, oh my God, this is really amazing, honey. He was like, well, you know, girl, because you know how Bob is. Well, you know, girl, it's like we have all these meetings, and you know, people don't follow through. He's like, I'll believe it when I see it. Mm-hmm. And I'll never forget when they pulled us up to Gettysburg to see our vehicles for the first time. I like hit Bob on the arm. I was like, well, do you believe in now, bitch?
And when the casting gets announced, are the other queens feeling a certain type of way?
I definitely feel like the first season we had a lot of pushback from Drag Race fandom and Drag Race girls in general. I don't know if it was because they weren't chosen or if it's like also because they didn't really know what the show was going to be about. Sometimes the girls get bitter when they don't get something someone else gets, you know, but that's life. I mean, I have always been thrown shade. It has a lot to do with fat phobia in our social society. We are raised to see people a certain way. I dealt with a lot of that, you know, especially being fierce, you know what I mean? And, you know, bringing next level drag and dancing and all these things. Like, I felt like the fandom was like anti-Eureka winning even. And I think that they wanted to pull it any other reason. But the truth is just because they were afraid a fat girl was going to win. You know, they wanted Aquaria to win, which is, I'm blessed. I'm happy she won. She deserved it.
Oh.
Right.
Hello.
Right. She's a woman.
Wow.
As trans women, we have the resources to feminize ourselves as much as possible. But with most trans women, it's really just up to what they want to do, you know? I actually get in arguments with even trans girls because we can often be really mean to each other, as girls can be in general. Because there's a lot of trans women, like especially older trans women, and that are lobbyists and fight for our rights that, you know, also fight for this idea that they don't have to be hyper feminine and they don't need to wear all this makeup and you know, they take their hormones and they do all the things, but they don't, you know, they're comfortable with like their voice or how they present themselves in clothing and so on and so forth. And I'm not.
So we're in Vegas because you have a house here for a year because of the Drag Race show in Vegas, right?
Drag Race Live, yeah.
But you're not in the show right now.
Well, I came back to do the beginning of the stint because the last time I was here, I upped and left for rehab actually, while I was supposed to be doing my segment here. So I just wanted to come back to Drag Race Live and like give them, you know, what I felt like I took away from them in a way. I did the couple months and that was all, you know, they had a lot of the girls already pre-scheduled for the rest of the year. So I'm not on it, which is fine. It's fine with me. But I do hate that I'm not on it more because the fans, you know, I hear a lot from them and their bitterness and upset because people just assume that I'm going to be there anytime they're there.
Well, when you look it up online, you're still part of the cast. It's still your name.
Yeah.
But there is no Eureka present.
No. And I'm not a Voss girl. I'm going to be honest. Like, if you're not a Voss girl, like, you're lucky to get invited to do Drag Race Live.
Voss is a management company, right?
Voss Events, yeah, who actually also runs the show. Obviously, World of Wonder, like, chooses who works in this and that. But Voss Events and Brandon Voss have a lot of say of, like, who they schedule. The RuPaul Drag Race Live show itself, like, we get paid per show, which is, and it's not our normal standard rate. It's definitely lower. You know?
Wait, so the pay is not that great?
No, I mean, it's okay.
I would have thought it was like the best pay out of any gig you could get. Like, it would be the dream gig for a drag queen to do.
No, it's a dream gig. It doesn't pay $1 million. You know what I mean? But I mean, we get paid well enough for these girls to still be doing it 3 or 4 years later. You know, Miss Derek Barry can't get her to move. Asia O'Hara is honestly the best host, though. I can't lie.
If you are one of those that have been wanting longer episodes and a way to support me and the channel, I started a Patreon. Thank you so much for your support.
I wish I would have cleaned it better.
No, I love it.
Like, girl, it's drag.
Wow. I'm like in history, I feel like. This is like history.
Oh, it is very history too.
Yes, it is, right? Like, wait,
yeah.
I feel like you wore this. I know this one.
Oh, I'm sure. And like, this is my Eureka gown. Oh my god. You know, I definitely have some, like, there's some stuff I would never give away. Wow. You know, like I wore this on All Stars.
Yes,
iconic. This one we're
Oh,
here.
wow. So let's talk about your growing up a bit. You grew up in Tennessee, and you said you grew up in like a low-income house, right?
My mother left my father when me and my twin sister were 1. So, I mean, I never knew life with anyone but just a single mom. You know, but I remember coming home and my mother crying in the middle of the floor and from her waitress job because the lights are off. I think I get my work ethic from her, to be honest. You know, my mom at one point was working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day in a fiberglass factory. I would literally, like, when she came home from work after I had cooked dinner, because I was that child, while she would eat, I would sit there and I would pick the fiberglass out of her feet and her hands. Yes! Look who's here! Oh my god!
Mama Eureka!
I love you and you cannot do it.
Sick or not, she flew all the way to LA. It was the best mama ever. You know, I just remember the FaceTime call I got where they were at the doctor and my sister was like crying and she's like, Mom doesn't want to do treatments anymore. And I like get on the phone with my mom and I was just like, are you sure? And she was just like, yes. You know, I mean, she couldn't really talk then. But she was like, yeah, because she had a trach, so she didn't really talk. But as soon as she said no more treatment, she was so happy. So she was kind of ready. I think it was so painful to watch her go through it. Cancer and a throat cancer too, and radiation, all that, it burns your skin. It's a really abrasive thing to have to go through that kind of treatment. And to see your mother do it. And my twin sister, I still give her extra love as much as I can because she was her caregiver at home. I paid her to take care of our mom while I was traveling and touring. And I do wish that I wasn't so prideful during it though, because social media and the fans and things did want to help.
Like financially?
Yeah, like my sister created a GoFundMe and I literally stopped it at $2,000, which was the cost of the cremation, because I was just so prideful. And I ran myself into debt to make it all work.
Do you feel like because you've had this success that you have a financial responsibility to watch over everyone in your family and people that are close to you?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That's stressful.
When you grow up with nothing and then you have something, it's almost like imposter syndrome. Like, I shouldn't have this in a way. You have to learn to respect money, which I still have an issue with. I love to spend money.
But does it get to a place financially where, you start getting these calls from family members and they're going to be asking for money? Does it shift your relationship with people knowing that they also want money from you?
Yeah, of course. It definitely does. It also took me a long time not to train people to expect that from me. Like my niece and my nephew and my twin sister, the people that I truly do want to support, because there were so many people that come out of the woodwork, honey. You know what I mean?
I also want to say congratulations on your transition.
Oh, thanks.
It's relatively new this time around.
Yeah.
I know most people watching this will know who you are and know the journey you've been on, but those that don't, at 18, you decided to transition, and then at 24, you decided to detransition, and then now you transitioned again.
Yeah, I've always been trans. I've always been a trans woman since I was born. But yeah, 18 to 23, 24, I lived trans. It was awful in Tennessee. Abused, guns pulled on me, crazy situations, There's just a lot that happens in those small areas for trans people. The real reason that I detransitioned was because my drag mother's best friend, they found her in a bed. They say that no one was there, but she was naked, and we knew her to love her tricks. Honey, she'd find them in the parking lot. She was very much a working girl. But they, claimed it was an overdose or something. But, we found out later she was strangled and all this stuff. And her mother and family, even though she had full work done, breasts and everything, at the funeral, we show up and they have her in a suit and her head shaved. You know what I mean? And it was just traumatizing. I remember the night before I went to my drag mother to cut my hair, because she's a hairdresser. She's also trans. I had this date and he pulled a gun on me and shot it in my house. And I'm I can't hardly hear in one of my ears because of it. But it was one of the scariest moments of my life. And I just knew I was either going to die or I didn't know what was going to happen to me if I stayed trans there.
Did you get any pushback from other trans people when you decided to detransition, because it's such a controversial topic?
Oh yeah. I was public enemy number one. I've been myself in the moment, you know what I mean? And I am proud to be able to say that, at least. And I've had my pushback, and I've always had people push against me because I do choose to do that, even when it's detrimental. So, I've always been true to myself in one way or another, even though it wasn't fully authentic. But for the moment, it's where I felt content and safe.
Your fame and your success and your money is probably making your journey now much different than at 18.
It's weirdly, maybe, I'm going through a weird time because I'm choosing to not work right now and just do me and relax and settle. And, that definitely takes some of the financial leeway away. But also there's more that I need to get done to be passable now, if that makes sense.
And I did notice that I saw you posted on your story, that you're selling some of your items because the transition is getting so expensive, which was great that you're selling them. But when my initial thought was oh, I thought she'd be rich.
I know, honestly, everyone just thinks that all drag queens that are on TV are rich. And not all this hard. I probably could have more money, but again, I just like to take care of people. It's a hard life to be trans because we have to be the educators. You know what I mean? We have to be self-protectors. We have to always be on guard. And we have to alter our appearance, not only for our own comfort and safety, but for other people's comfort too. That's what we're at most risk of, is making prejudiced people uncomfortable. As trans individuals, the safest way for us is to either be very content and comfortable in our lives, however we are, and be surrounded by people that we know will protect us, or be as what we call passable as possible.
I find it so interesting and beautiful and powerful that you were at this peak of your success, in my opinion, doing this drag race show in Vegas. We're here, and you decide to take a step back because you want to go in recovery.
Yeah, I mean, it was different. I don't really know why I fell so deep in it, and just, I mean, it gets to a point where, I don't know how you can get any higher. You know, I grew up around drugs. My mother and father were both addicts. You know, it's not a shock to me that I have now realized that I have had and have some type of addiction personality. Not only drugs, but I've been addicted to food. I've been addicted to attention. I've been addicted to, you know, work. I've been, you know, TV, or, you know, I have had this addictive personality from a very young age, built off of trauma. I got a little too brave to a point where it was just like, oh, I can't be touched. I can do anything.
You mean with drugs and stuff, you're saying?
Yeah, drugs, where I did them, you know, in the middle of the bar, I didn't care. Everyone else was running to the bathroom, and I'm like, I'm slick. I can like hide behind my hand and do a bum in the middle of the bar. But yeah, it affected me a lot. You know, I was gone for 45 days, no work. Rehab is not cheap. And I went to like literally one of the nicest rehabs in the country. Honestly, when I got sober in rehab, that's when I started kind of seeing my more feminine nature and like what I really wanted. And I think honestly the drugs were like to help me numb the reality of like how inauthentic I was actually living. And weirdly, the drugs was like the least of my worry. The real work was like the trauma therapy. I do feel this pressure though a lot of times, being Eureka O'Hara and having this image that I have, you know, working with HBO and wanting to represent RuPaul and World of Wonder and VH1, and like, you know, you start to have these bigger responsibilities when you're in a position like I am. So like, talking about such sensitive subjects used to make me nervous.
I appreciate your honesty so much, and like, I feel the strongest people are the most vulnerable people, and willing to, you know, share what you've gone through. It's gonna help so many people, you know. And
I hate people that bullshit, girl. And I that's the only thing I regret in my life is every time I've had to lie about who I am, about how I feel, about what I do, about who I love, like all those things that we are literally as queer people told to lie about from our parents, from our priests, from our sisters, our cousins, our boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever.
I have loved talking with you. This has been so inspiring and enlightening, and I'm just feel like so proud of you for what you've accomplished here. Like, you know your mom's watching, and you know she's proud, and your grandma.
Yeah, through my recovery, I've never been able to speak so honestly with my mother before. You know, and let her know, bitch, you was an addict too. My favorite memories of me and my mom are me sitting at the table after she got off work, and I would break up her ounce of weed, and I would roll all of her weed into joints for her and put it into her cigarette pack at 13 years old. You know, and some people will call that child abuse, and I call it like walking down memory lane and some of the most amazing memories I have with my mom, because while I did that one thing that helped her and she could trust, she also talked to me about all these stories from Germany, and, you know, she got to give her hands a rest that were full of, you know, fiberglass. Bitch, I'll break up your weed and roll your joints, girl. You know?
Yes, totally.
Maybe that's why I don't want to smoke them.
Maybe.
You know, maybe that's why I don't smoke weed, because like it was never anything that I felt like was so bad.
Thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome.
Perfect.
We'll see if I get like a phone call from HBO or something.
No, it's gonna be great. No.
I'm not worried about that, honestly. I mean, and they know who I am.
Right. Thank you so much.
That
was so good.
little princess pink is so warm. She's so happy.